Yeah, like give him blue balls and just walk away. That'll get cut, don't worry. Hey guys, I'm Molly and this is
Emily.
And today we're filming a video about sex. Yes, queen! We kind of feel like this is like a very taboo topic, especially for women. And we feel like that it can often be shame-based, or there's not always a place to openly talk about it and feel comfortable talking about it. So we just kind of wanted to film a video and like record our thoughts. We're also drinking a little bit.
Right.
So it's just like super cash. And yeah, I guess like something that I realized was growing up, we never talked about sex, like my friends and I. Did you have a similar experience, or did you guys kind of talk about it?
I feel like it was always like,
So I know I went to private school and she went to public school.
Yeah.
So we had very different like friends and
all girls. She went to an all girls.
I went to all girls.
So I feel like we were always like, it was kind of like, you'd be like, oh, so I heard so and so like suck this guy's dick, and like
we had that too.
Yeah.
We had that too.
Yeah, so it was like,
or like I remember a big rumor was like that this one girl had sex and it didn't fit, and like she had to like those stories would always fly around school.
Right.
But I feel like we never had like productive conversations about sex where I was like, I never felt comfortable going to my friends and being like, do you guys think that like it hurts to have sex?
Right.
And I remember I would always Google things like, but back then, not that this was so long ago, but like back then still, I felt like shame even looking it up on the internet.
Right. Yeah.
And like I didn't feel comfortable.
And I think that like I remember like the first time I found like my brother had like looked at porn or whatever.
Yeah.
And like it gave my computer a complete virus. I remember being like, oh my god, like this is such a bad thing. There's also a billboard in my town that was like, like this is like kind of random, but like it was like a billboard in my town that said like virgin. Teach your kids it's not a dirty word. But I remember being like,
but that makes it kind of made a dirty word,
right? Like it kind of like made like it just made me feel weird. I was like, what is being a virgin? But then my like mom felt uncomfortable talking about it.
Yeah, so yeah. I also feel like our parents weren't taught how to talk about it either. So like I remember even the period talk with my mom was like very embarrassing.
Right.
So you can imagine like what sex, I just never felt comfortable. And it was nothing with her, like we're close, but I never felt, and now it's gotten a little better as I've gotten more comfortable like talking about it and own my sexuality. But like I think even in like how you said that your brother saw porn, like that's socially acceptable for men, whereas women, like I feel like I would masturbate but also feel shame about that, and I didn't really know what that was, and it wasn't until college when I realized, like when we became friends, that I realized that like that was an okay thing to do.
I remember like the first like guy I ever like messed around with. Right. Like it was like my focus was like pleasuring him.
Yes.
And like the idea of like telling him like what something that like I wanted, or like I remember like I would just like suck his dick in like a random like
because
like,
you also don't know like what feels good on your own body, so how can you tell someone else?
Right. And I think like a penis is kind of like very. It's a little bit more simple than a like clit is.
A clit, like a whole vagina, like a vagina is a whole world out there.
And I think boys are scared because they're not really like, they're not really talking about it, and they only see porn, which is like a very simplistic version of the whole situation.
It's so true, and that's another interesting thing is I feel like it's an interesting dichotomy because men watch porn and have unrealistic expectations, and then women already feel very shame-based with when it comes to sex. Right. So on top of that, then there are these unrealistic expectations, and you don't feel empowered to like be who you are. So men aren't really learning like what is real. Like men, and this is like in high school and even a little bit in college. I mean, this in a way I feel like takes a while to fight against. and unlearn these habits.
Like you're supposed to be hairless.
Hairless, that's a big one.
Like really, like you're supposed to be like super sexy,
super like open.
Yeah, like
able to like take a
like
jackhammer.
It's just gonna like slide right in, and like it's just gonna be like such a just amazing experience from the get go. And the guy it's just gonna like be so like slippery smooth and just like work. And I feel like we both had like. Both of our first times were like so not that.
Yeah, it was like the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And there's like I feel like there's two ideas, and like one is that it's like it's a blood house. Like it's like there's always blood everywhere, and like you're screaming in pain. And then there's the other one
just like doing it to you regardless.
Yeah, and then there's like the other side of like, oh, it's easy, it's fine, and it's whatever. And it's like
movie sex, like,
and it's kind of like neither.
Yeah,
it's like such an in between of the two. Like it's not
right.
Like growing up, I thought that you would just like this white bed would be completely like the whole thing would just turn red, and I would just leave it, and it would be a red comforter. And then I remember I like would go to, I would do so much research on it, and I would see people that said like, yeah, it didn't hurt. So then I was like, oh, it's not gonna hurt at all. So I just had no. Right. And that's the other thing, like virginity is a very interesting.
So
it's a weird. Did you ever feel pressure like with your friends to not be a virgin or to be a virgin?
I kind of was like, I remember like it felt good for a while, and then like I was like, I just kind of want to get this like mysterious thing over with and
That's
just
exactly
square it away.
Felt.
I'm like, I just like don't. It feels so heavy at this point that I just want like, this like monkey off my back. I was like, I'm done with it.
And I think that's so true, because I think it's such a personal thing. Like if you are a virgin and you feel like that's sexy, like that's sexy,
and it can be.
No one can make that not sexy. It's just how you feel, and that's how I felt. Like I remember I really kind of like thought it was so cool, and it was. That's how it felt to me. And then I hit that point where, for me personally, I was just kind of like, all right, I'm ready to just almost like get this over with in a way. Not that it should be like that for everyone, but that's just kind of what felt right to me.
And I think some people, like I had friends that like it was just like a guy they like knew, or it'd be like a guy. It's like doesn't have to be like this person that you're like it can be anything. I think the person. I think there's a lot of build up to like it being that person, and it's gonna be like this like thing, and you're gonna like ride off into the sunset. And I think like after my first time, it was with my high school boyfriend, and then like literally the next like within weeks we broke up. And like I remember being like, I like lost my virginity to him, like that's like and then it's like, oh, it's actually okay, because like I'm still like he didn't take anything from me, like I'm still
and that's a really empowering thing. Like it's almost underwhelming when you finally have sex,
like wait,
but almost in a nice way. I found it very empowering, because I was like, oh, like you just said, no one can take anything from me. Like this is my show, you know? And I also think that you don't have to feel like kind of connected to the whole shame-based idea of the way we talk about sex. Like people are going to tell you, I think it should be somebody that you trust. For sure.
That's like I think the only stipulation is.
And sometimes it's like weird, because I feel like they put it being a boyfriend over someone you trust, but you can have a boyfriend that you do not trust as far as you could throw him. It could be a horrible relationship, and he could be taking advantage of you. So I don't think that you have to, and if you want to be committed, like that's fine, good for you, but don't feel shame if you're not. If you are with someone that you trust, like that's to me, that is the bottom line. I think that's the most important thing. Like somebody that you can say,
like I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and someone that you could be like, someone you know that, because sex is vulnerable, and someone that you're kind of like bearing it all out there, and someone you know that will really like value your body and your experience of this, and also like someone you can be like, hey, have you been tested?
Or like, is it okay if we use a condom? Like, I feel I need that.
Yeah, and if you feel like you can't ask those questions to that person, maybe it's not the right person, or maybe it's not the right time. Maybe you're not ready. You know? Because it's scary to ask those questions, because you also think like, oh, are they going to be like,
why are you asking?
Like, they don't trust me.
Right.
Or you don't trust me, so we can't have sex.
Right.
But it's not about that. It's about taking your life into your hands. And I've had that experience, and I think that it's, like, very attractive.
Right. For someone to be, like, open about that.
Yeah.
Or be okay with, like, us being, or you being open with that.
Yeah. Like, when I remember I thought it was going to be such a turn off when I asked if someone had been tested, and he was, like, kind of taken aback, but in, like, a turned on way.
Because I think even, like, to say, like, I'm gonna be just real about this.
Yeah.
I think, like, sometimes we're like, because of society and stuff, we're supposed to be, like, us women are supposed to be kind of like this, just like
take it.
Yeah, like, and, like, just, like, a kind of, like, a just inanimate object. Because
yes.
we've been, like, objectified our whole lives.
Yeah.
So it's, like, I'm
like,
just
you're
gonna,
a
like,
sex slave.
Yeah, like, it's, like, I'm gonna, like, ask you some questions.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're not down for these questions, like, I'm gonna ask, then, like
your ass is getting kicked
right.
to the curb.
Like, one question I always have to ask is, like, do you have lube within the within this,
yeah,
a 1, like, foot radius? Because, like, we're not, like, I cannot, I need that.
Like, we need the lube.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be, like, an embarrassing question either. And then I also think that it makes, like, the aftermath of the experience better, because you, like, in the heat of the moment, you can do anything.
Right.
But then the next morning, you, like, if you're about to, like, do something to me that could potentially get me pregnant or give me an STD, like, I'm fucking gonna ask you if you've been tested or if you have lube, or, like,
it's not crazy, this is not zany, like, you're actually, like, putting your body part inside my body.
Of me. And so that's something that I remember we were talking one night, we were like, sex, like, hurts for women a lot of times, not all the time. That's not the same experience for men. Right. So it's just gonna be different, and, like, to have someone that's understanding of that and patient, and
like, if you were like, I need you to take it slower, or, like,
or even, like, we need
to do faster.
Yeah, like, or, like, we need to, like, stop for right now.
I need to take a breather, because it's like,
like, you can start to have sex and stop, like, that's okay. Right. You don't have to finish
like, keep going.
Yeah, like, give him blue balls and just walk away. I just think it's okay to expect more out of the other person too. Exactly. You're gonna give so much of yourself. Right. And I think they can't get pregnant, so we can.
Yeah. But basically, like, the first time that I realized, like, I remember my first time having sex, I was like, I thought that was supposed to be awesome. Mm-hmm. I thought that was gonna be, like, so, like, amazing, literally ethereal. I feel like I like Cruel Intentions when she. Yeah. It's, like, weird the first time, like. It's not this, like, magical sex scene from a movie. That's, like, it's, like, awkward, and we're both, like, butt naked for the first time in front of each other.
It's so true, and you feel so vulnerable. Right. Especially in high school, too, because you have so many, like, the person I am now, or the person I was in college versus the person I was in high school is, like, they're two. Versus they're, like, two completely different human beings. Like, so I never had sex in high school,
and I did it on prom night of my senior year. Which is, like, literally the most cliche thing. Like,
I was the Tina Fey, and you were, like, the classic, like high school.
Like, I was, like, corny for
not another teen movie.
Like, I literally was just like, I guess it's time.
That's so classic, though.
Yeah.
But I personally, like, knowing, and you probably were more secure in high school than I was, like, I could not have had sex in high school. And I feel like if I had, it would have just been, it would have, like, ripped me to shreds, because I wasn't confident in myself at all. I wouldn't have, like, girls in my grade got pregnant.
Wow. That's funny at a Catholic school.
Yeah. And one girl got pregnant and got an abortion, and she could stay because she got an abortion. And the girl that got pregnant was asked to leave, that, like, actually had her child.
Everyone knew she had.
How hypocritical is that?
And I feel like that's, like,
the one that actually had her child, because that's what they teach in, like, religion, that you shouldn't abort and should have your child. And she was the one that was, like, asked to leave. So I think also seeing that was eye-opening for me, because early on I could see that it wasn't some, like, you know, just like this like fun little thing. But I mean, it is fun and it should be fun too.
Another problem is like there's not, because of the lack of open communication.
Yeah.
It's like really the truth is like if you follow like your birth control and if you use condoms, like there is a very low likelihood of getting pregnant. It's the fact that we're not taught, because there's not an open communication. Like we're not taught that like it's cool to go to your doctor and be like, I want this type of birth control. Amen. Let's just scare you into not doing it.
Yes.
And like and making you feel like it's this like thing that if you have sex, you're gonna like get an STD and die. And that's like,
I always tell Emily, like, my sex education was one day they pulled us into the basement. This is not exaggeration. Literally not 1% of this is an exaggeration. They pulled us into a basement and, like, this room that had asbestos on the walls. It was, like, the lights were broken. There was, like, ghosts down there, and there was, like, like, it was the creepiest place, and they put on a slideshow that they had made about AIDS and HIV and STDs, and they showed us graphic pictures, and that was it.
That's what
we never learned about condoms.
I'm like, you're teaching me about HIV, but I don't even know how the fuck to get it.
So I'm actually gonna get it.
I'm like, you're just teaching me about how you die from it.
Right.
But like,
odds are I'm not going to. But odds are I could actually end up like with chlamydia or pregnant.
Right.
And that's the thing, like, I feel like in religion, too, there's a lot of judgment about abortion, which, if that's your stance, like, that's like no judgment. Like, that's what we respect all inputs. But the thing is, to get an abortion, you have to get pregnant.
Right. But, like,
you have to get pregnant first.
But then
you have to teach. Right. Like, people have to be empowered and know how to prevent pregnancy.
Right.
To not have an abortion.
Just get rid of this problem.
Right.
This like fight over abortion. If only like, people were empowered to know, like, all right, like if I use birth control and condoms, I have a really good chance of not getting pregnant, and like taking the anxiety out of sex, and like because it's like this fear. Like how many times have you heard your girlfriend say, like, I think I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant.
So many.
And like
you every day.
Literally. I remember I dated this guy and he was like, I know for a fact you are not pregnant based on like, you just got your period, so you're not, because you just had your period, so you're not ovulating. And I was like, wow, like, what a thought, like, that I could like actually like know my body's cycle.
Know my own body, because they don't talk about that either.
Talk about that, and it's like
there are weeks to have sex where you're less likely.
Yeah. Like if you are like getting your period, like your like lining of your uterus is shedding, so like an egg really technically can't even like attach to your balls.
It's just
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's like, there are those chances where it could, but it's just like, even knowing that information is like, oh wow, like I don't have to go spend $50 on Plan B because I'm on the pill.
That'd be so expensive,
right?
Too.
And I use condoms, so like, and I don't need to do these things. So it's just like, if only we just knew, then it would be like,
God, because honestly, this is so corny, but knowledge is power.
Right.
Like having that information, and that's why I think, like, while I lost my virginity later in life, I have zero regrets because I actually didn't have the information due to my due to where I went to school and my education. I didn't have the information, honestly, until I came to college and we just started talking so openly, and Emily's really like super knowledgeable about all of that stuff. So yeah. So I learned so much from her, and then not only just like the logistics, but then just talking about sex, like actually talking about it helps so much.
It's so good. Like honestly, like I've never had an orgasm from a guy.
Yeah.
Like I've had sex enough where I probably like when I tell people like I've never gotten an orgasm from a man, they're like, what the fuck? Like, and it's just like
it's
just never happened.
And that's something that's not talked about enough either. Is like I didn't learn this till hashtag
college.
Bless college. I learned like so much in college.
Adult, like,
just I am who I am because of college.
Yeah.
But I remember I had no idea that, I don't know the exact percentage, so I'm not gonna like throw a number out there and lie, but maybe I'll put it on here somewhere. Yeah. But there's a good percentage of women that actually do not get off to penetration, but clitoral stimulation.
Right.
and it's like a high number.
I was like, wow, I should be like having this explosive orgasm.
Yeah.
And then like I
Like
got
squirting on the
right.
walls.
Right, like literally like and then like I went to a pure romance party and got a vibrator, and like
Yes.
then I started having like explosive orgasm.
You won't go bring out your vibrator.
Should I go? It's so like, you guys.
Women too, like I think men are still allowed to be like gross, like
Yeah.
dirty monsters, and like women like are allowed to just
Right, like,
I hate that. I hate that perception. You have to be so obedient and dainty and perfect in all
Like-
moments. I'm like, no, like.
And like even like I've heard moms joke like, wow, the towel's almost cracked because there was so much like he was like masturbating into a towel. Like,
yes, or the sock.
right. Yeah, I'm like she's like, I found his
Bridesmaids.
And I'm like, I'm not like I'm like a dude when it comes to masturbating.
Yeah, and masturbating is we
100.
touched on it a little
Yeah.
bit, but like I think honestly that like helps you not feel pressure to
Right.
have sex with someone else when you
Right.
know that you can like, because you have, the thing is like, and I think sometimes we forget this, like you're gonna have sexual urges.
Right.
Women are sexual beings, and it's when you're young too and you're experiencing it for the first time, you're going to have it.
To like touch yourself.
But you also might not be ready to have sex.
Right.
But because you're not being taught that like masturbation
Right.
is a thing and cool and you can do
Right.
it, you might then rush into having sex.
Right. Just to have that to
seriously, like touching yourself is so beautiful.
and like I don't know if you felt this way, but like I remember feeling so afraid of the act of getting fingered.
Yeah.
Should I go get the vibrator?
It's up to you.
I'm gonna get it. But so here it is, and this is like the like basic vibrator.
I hope they pause this and like zoom in and screenshot it and then tweet it to you.
It's kind of like rancid. It's like a,
The way that it has like a
It's like
sheen
what-
to it. Even holding it feels good. It's vibrating right now.
Yeah,
and there's a
now
massage.
hit the bottom. So
Oh my gosh! This thing goes
nuts.
We should put like a link to this in the.
Yeah, this is like just like your basic like vibrator. If you're starting out, this is what she recommended to me because I was like a newbie.
We're not sponsored.
No, we promise. We promise.
But,
Okay.
but if you're interested in this, maybe
Right.
we can find the link to it or something.
Yeah. So basically, the reason why I like it is because I'm not like a big one on penetration. Like,
Yeah.
and I think I can get there, and that's why like I feel like you're
When
the
you-
same way. Like I
Yeah.
feel like we're both like just not built.
If we're
We
with-
need time.
we need time. We need someone that's like we're
Good.
not made for one night stands, really.
Right.
Just even because of the way our bodies are
Yeah, it's just-
physically. Like we're not gonna have a one night stand and have sex and it'd be like amazing.
Right. Like literally the last one night stand I had, I literally had to tell him to stop. I was like, wow.
And this is somebody that's like had a boyfriend and has had consistent sex for a while. So if anyone out there is like kind of struggling with that, like know that like people definitely go through that.
And I was like,
Don't feel-
with my boyfriend when I was having sex a lot, I finally got to that point where penetration felt good. And
Yeah.
and then I didn't have sex for 2 years after that. I was like it was just.
She was a born again virgin.
I literally got re-virginized, and I had a one night stand like 2 months ago, and he was like trying to go to Pound Town, and I was like,
He was trying to do his porno moves.
and I was like, you're not gonna, like, I was like, not today.
You're like, that's not it.
And he literally had used so much lube, and it's
So he had some?
He had some KY, which is not my favorite.
Okay, at least he had some.
Yeah, I was like, alright, you better.
That's a few points.
And he tried.
And now he's ghosted Emily.
But basically, like, I don't like love penetration, so this is great because you can pull this back, and I will only like. I won't use this to go inside of me. I'll just use this part and like put that on my clit and like not.
Because can't you put this on?
You could put this
as well.
inside.
Can't you put
I
this on
could.
your clit though?
Yeah, I could. You
Oh,
could.
actually, no. It doesn't vibrate as much as that does.
And like sometimes when I'm masturbating, I'm like I really like want to like be penetrated, so like I'll finger myself or use this.
Yeah.
But like honestly, like most of the time, I'm like I just want this to be. I just want this clitoral.
That because that's a pretty like
yeah, and it has
thick, like that other part's really flimsy, but
Yeah.
that's like a sturdy.
like and then you just put this on your on your clit. So
if you're having trouble with sex or penetration at all, honestly, like
We feel
explore
you.
your clit.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like
Seriously.
once I get enough clitoral stimulation, I feel like I'm like all right, like I'm ready for penetration.
Yeah. Sometimes like this is random, but sometimes I actually will I don't watch porn a lot, but like it definitely piques my interest. And also I wanted to see what like guys are watching sometimes, and a lot of it's actually fucking like messed up and frustrating that's what they've been watching, but that's not my business.
Yeah,
it's like another video. But I've Googled vintage porn.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it was so different back then. And it's kind of really interesting to see, like, there's a bunch of it on there.
Like, all I really want is,
more
like,
romantic in a way.
Yeah, like, I just want, like, the sex scenes from movies to just keep going.
Yes! Like, and to actually, oh my gosh, it's actually a great idea. Oh, so yeah, wow, that was a great therapy
This
session.
felt good for us, I think. I hope it felt good for you guys.
Yeah, we hope this was interesting to watch, and we just really want to like normalize sex and everything that you're going through or experiencing. I feel like I hear that question a lot, and I've also asked that question a lot, like, is this normal?
Right.
Literally whatever question you have in your mind about like your body, is this normal? Am I weird?
You're not.
You're not weird. Like, I thought so many things were, like, off about me, and then I just realized that was just my body, and that's what happened. So, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, maybe give us a thumbs up. Emily has a channel called MJO for Safer Sex, so I'll make sure to link that in the description box below, and let us know what else you would like to see from us.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.